it's fair to say you've spent a few thousand hours with L. Ron Hubbard.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let's set that aside. That's you're a disciple. You've witnessed. So it's not like a person that's speaking theoretically. You are in the disciple category. And how many people in the world have spent a few thousand hours around L. Ron Hubbard that are living today?
Probably less than 100.
Okay, so less than 100. So that's 1 in 100 who can speak with that kind of experience. Now take L. Ron Hubbard's, because I've seen you say that L. Ron Hubbard had a temper as well, but he was more charismatic, charming, and a little bit more, easier to deal with, versus Miscavige doesn't have that. His temper is worse. So, and you've spent how many hours with Miscavige?
A million. I don't know.
So the comparison between the two, a lot more with David than you have with L. Ron Hubbard, right?
Yes, correct.
What is the different style of leadership with Miscavige versus L. Ron Hubbard?
Miscavige doesn't really have any redeeming qualities in that he has a very, very aggressive style and a tendency to violent outbursts that are physical in nature. People say, oh yes, Miscavige is a fool. He is no fool. He is a very highly intelligent, smart guy
who says he's a fool?
Oh, a lot of people on social media, or that they respond to me, or or people who interview me. They're like, well, he's just crazy. Well, crazy like a fox or whatever. He is a super, super intelligent guy who is capable of absorbing enormous amounts of information and analyzing it and figuring out how to use it for his advantage. Perhaps more so even than Hubbard. David Miscavige is the perfect product of L. Ron Hubbard. And by that, I mean he too was raised a Scientologist from a very young age and had a similar sort of trajectory in life that I did. He joined the Sea Organization as soon as he could out of high school. He sort of rose through the ranks. He went and worked with Hubbard. He was a protege of Hubbard. Even more than me, he was with him when he was living in California, working every day for a year with him in California. He also has a personality, David Miscavige, that lends itself to being like the perfect disciple of Hubbard, in that Hubbard had a very mean streak to him. There was a lot of writings in Scientology about people who disagree with Hubbard and what is to be done with them. And, he says, I never forget. I'll always even the score. I never forgive people who have attacked Scientology or me. I will destroy them utterly if possible, of course.
These are his words.
These are his words. And if you look at David Miscavige, that is the essence of David Miscavige. He has got that part of Scientology down to a T. And while he can be charming when he wants to be, like any sociopath can, I mentioned in my book that I read this brilliant book by a woman, professor called Martha Stout, called The Sociopath Next Door, which I recommend to anybody.
Yeah.
And it had a real impact on me because I realized—
It's a good book.
I realized, look, I thought I was dealing with a unique person in David Miscavige. And obviously he is unique. There's no other David Miscaviges, but there are a lot of other sociopaths, and they share a lot of characteristics. And I see Miscavige as being a classic sociopath and taking the bits that Hubbard gave and using those to become the new L. Ron Hubbard of Scientology. for a long time, you could have said to any Scientologist, will there ever be another L. Ron Hubbard? And every one of them would say no. And probably all of them would agree with that statement now. But if you said to them, is David Miscavige the epitome of L. Ron Hubbard carrying forth his legacy? That every Scientologist would agree with you about that. And every Scientologist today is as afraid of criticizing, questioning, or challenging the authority or words of David Miscavige as they were L. Ron Hubbard.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.